howdy, and welcome back to another episode of World Bigfoot Radio. We just went through the same thing here with the piece of random video we got up in Patty Canyon a few years ago, and we've been going up to that exact same spot, same time of day for years, and different times of the year too. And we know it was filmed in like September. So this year, when I had the team here with me, we went up there in September, same time of day, same time of year, same light conditions. Let's see if that huge Bigfoot shaped shadow that's 12 feet tall is there. No, it's not there. And the other thing is, since subsequent viewings of the same piece of video over and over again, Jeff, who filmed it, actually caught four of them. The one standing up, peeking around behind the tree, Mr. Big, that was the obvious one, but there's three other ones. And we've been up there enough times and looked at the video. It's like none of those objects are there. Snubs don't get up and walk away.
Right.
So yeah, we tried to I tried to debunk myself originally too, and went, nah, it's a trick of shadow. And then after going up there over and over and over and over again, it's like the shadow isn't appearing again.
Right.
After like 4 or 5 years of doing this over and over again, that shadow ain't there, guys. Whatever that was, it got up and done walked away after we filmed it. So yeah, and that's one of the things that very few of the researchers bother to do is actually go back to the same spot, take comparison video, and sometimes you go through a nightmare. You may be up there, half a dozen times trying to set it up again and find the right spot and get there at the right time of day and the right weather conditions. And man, it's not easy. You could be out in the middle of nowhere, not on a trail, and it's like, oh, now I got to go out in this 5,000 acres and find that 2 square foot spot I was standing on when I filmed this originally, and do it the same time of day, same light conditions, same weather conditions. But one time where you did this, you weren't doing a comparison. You'd seen a video the day before that somebody put out where they had actually filmed a Bigfoot walking across the top of a mountain. And then somebody else had put in a comment that they had walked up there to try and find it, and they couldn't find any tracks.
Yeah, one of the
And it
people in
took
the
you
same
guys
group,
until the very next day, you figured out exactly where this spot was. You were down there driving around the base of the mountain, making sure you were lining up exactly where they had filmed it from. And then you guys were going to climb up to the top of it, and the rest of the team gave up, and you went up there. And I remember watching that because that was January 2 years ago, and you won the official World Bigfoot Radio Crazy Man Bigfoot Researcher of the Year for doing that friggin' climb up that ice chute. I'm watching you going, why don't you have a pickaxe and crampons? Are you crazy? You're going to try and film this too while you're climbing up there? You're going to die, Kelly. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Go back down. I'm like the person in the movie theater that's like, hell no. Don't go in that room. Don't go in there. Except I'm yelling, Kelly, don't climb up that chute. You're going to die. And then you get up to the top of the chute, and the first thing you're like, oh, here's that guy's tracks that couldn't find the Bigfoot tracks. And the next thing, it's like, well, here's the Bigfoot track.
right?
Well done.
That there was like 4 or 5 guys that all witnessed the Bigfoot at the same time, and one of the guys filmed it with his cell phone. And it was in the Provo area, the foothills of Provo, and I think the reason why the Bigfoot was there is because the snow pushed it down. But I call them foothills. If you're back east, it's a mountain that I climbed to the top of. But it was dangerous. Derek and I spent 2 hours going after we found the exact filming location. And one of our friends, Chris Pino, he's the one that found it on Google Maps. Just some of the landmarks in the guy's video. He spent a whole day, and he's like, I found it, Kelly. And then it's like it lined up, and I'm like, I'm going in the morning. You could find it. So we go down there and we find the exact location, and then Derek and I scouted the area for 2 hours trying to figure out how to get up to where that Bigfoot was standing, because there's like different parts where there's cliff walls and everything. Yeah. Well, we ended up finding just a mile from there a video that was filmed a few years earlier, the Squaw Peak Bigfoot footage in Provo Canyon. That was like exactly a mile from where this other Bigfoot was filmed. So that's 2 Bigfoot films in the same area in like, I don't know, 7-8 years, whatever it is. So we mapped it out, and then Derek attempted to make the climb with me, and we got a couple 100 yards up the mountain, and he's like, I'm done. This is too dangerous. And So I'm like, it would probably be best if you're in the filming location so that you can take pictures and video me up there and then help guide me up there. So I ended up getting to where those guys gave up the day before and found their tracks, but there was a cliff. I don't know, like 30-foot cliff, and they just gave up right there. Well, me and Derek already mapped it out from the ground, and I realized that I had to go several hundred yards to the south to get up over this cliff. So once I got there and stuff, called Derek down there and blah 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 blah, and I'm gonna go back into the trees and yeah, I can see you and you're right below it, and I'm like, I know. So yeah, I go back into the trees and I go back up and around and I get to the top and start finding its tracks. And I have to point out, I know only one Bigfoot was filmed and it looked gigantic in the video, and we did do a size comparison on one of our videos, and it just towered over me and just so much thicker than me and everything. I found two different sized tracks, and some of them had been sun damaged, windswept, but in the oak brush and everything, some of it was undercover and some of them looked pretty nice. But when I got up to where that Bigfoot was filmed, I found where a big square 300-pound rock had been pried out of the ground and set aside. And it had to pull it up out of the ice and the snow and everything. And the first thing I was looking for was like shovel marks, crowbar marks, because a person,
and
several
again,
people.
this is the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
The ground is frozen like concrete. It's like somebody ripped a 300-pound rock out of a piece of concrete.
Mm-hmm. So
you need serious tools to do that.
I'm just guessing there had to be some motivation to pull that up out like a food source. I don't know. Maybe there was a squirrel hiding under there. I don't know what the Bigfoot was after, but it pried that rock out and there was no evidence. And it's all on film. I mean,
right.
You guys can go look at it yourselves. There is no evidence that there was a man-made tool used to pry that rock out. And the reason I know it was recent, probably the same day that Bigfoot was, there was snow. There was a little bit of dusting of some windswept snow in there, but pretty much that hole was clean as snow. So this had just recently happened. So I think they caught that Bigfoot out in the open prying that rock up. And Derek's in the exact spots. These guys were standing in a driveway when they filmed it. Derek's not going to stand in the driveway. He stood out on the road by the mailbox. So Derek's probably 5-10 feet off from the exact spot. And looking at, and then Derek talked me into the right spot, and I'm probably a couple of feet. Well, this is like 3/4 of a mile to a mile. I'm thinking if him and I are just a couple of feet off, that's pretty damn close.
Yeah, that's not going to matter at that distance. That's plenty good.
So yeah, we did a size comparison, and the top of my head hit that Bigfoot right in the pecs. I probably come up to his solar plexus all, and he was twice as wide, twice as thick as me. It was a big one. It was a big one. He was 8 or 9 feet is my estimate.
Big boy.
Oh, I gotta leave first, but one. I'm gonna get. You can. No, you'll be fine. I'm just gonna get more footage of the Sasquatch. Hey, seriously, look how big it is. He's just chilling. I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch. Because look, he's on the mountain, way far back on the mountain. But look how huge he is. And I don't. Okay, so now we drove way down the hill. And look how big that person still is, all the way up on that mountain. Way the hell up there. You can see them right there. Right there. He's sitting on a rock. He's huge.
Oh my gosh, I still think it's a Sasquatch.
I mean, we are really far away right now. You can see the top of that mountain. It's humongous. It's that black thing right over that second peak of that house. Just standing there, but he's huge. You can see from here even.
Dang, he's ginormous.
With my own eyes, I can see him perfectly.
Yeah. It didn't take that long to find him.
No, not at all. It's crazy.
We're at the exact location that they filmed the Provo Bigfoot video that was posted on Reddit on January 2nd, 2019. We're just investigating the spot, and the Bigfoot was up there. So we're gonna take a look around and see if we can find anything that adds or takes away from the incident. But yeah, go look at the video and you guys will see that we're sitting at the exact spot, maybe a couple of feet off. You know, we always come up investigating these things and hope that lightning strikes twice. Sorry about my little jitterness. I don't have this on a tripod or nothing. We're sitting in the vehicle. We don't want to like creep out the neighborhood that we're pacing up and down their streets looking for Bigfoot. I mean, we are planning on hiking up there if there's public access, and we're just about ready to go look and see if we can find that public access so we can see what's going on up there. This is as close as we could drive to the actual spot, and gets us a little bit closer, but it took place up over this hill right there. We're kind of looking around, making sure we don't have to get on someone's property. Making sure we can legally hike up there if we can. Alright, we're going to drive up and down this a little bit and see if we can find the best route to get up there, the safest. It's icy, snow, mud.
It's literally 2,000 feet and about 200 yards. It goes almost straight up. It is very deceiving just how steep this is.
Okay, the sunlight's now on our side of the mountain. We've been scouting around between here and Squaw Peak looking for the best way to get up there. It's just been steep and treacherous.
So you see that standalone pine tree on the very, very top peak, or the top of the...
Yeah.
It lines up straight with that from the right pine tree, and I think...
Yeah.
I think...
We're a little bit too far forward.
I think they were standing, I bet you they were standing up in this...
They were in that driveway
yard.
That's right behind us, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to zoom right into the spot where I think the Bigfoot was standing when they filmed it. I think it was right around there. Is it playing?
Oh, it's not playing. I just got it paused.
You got it paused at the...
I got it paused with it standing up right there, and you can see that pine tree that I told you about. It lines up. Oh.
I zoomed in. They can't see your message. Whatever it was. Yeah, there's a screenshot or whatever of the video, and then, you know, so you guys can see we're in the right spot, or pretty damn close, within a few feet. But yeah, it was standing right around there. I'm here looking for Bigfoot. If it was here a day or two ago, it might still be in the area. So we're going between here, Squaw Peak, Tribble Creek, Alpine Loop. We're looking around. It may still be in the area. I'm after Bigfoot, not some footprints. Right, Derek and I parked at the only legitimate place people that want to come up here and publicly hike can hike. Otherwise, you're in someone's yard, someone's house, and this is the only, and we have spent over an hour, maybe two, driving back and forth between here and Squaw Peak looking for the best way to get up to where that Bigfoot was filmed. And I started a time-lapse camera to film us going up there so you guys can kind of see how treacherous it is. But we just filmed and took pictures of a deer that was up by that reddish tree a little earlier this morning when this was still in the shadows. And I was just amazed at how tiny that deer looked with our own 2 eyes, you know. And then that video off of a cell phone, how huge that Bigfoot was in comparison to the deer. It's kind of hitting home, you know. And so we're hiking up there. This is the only legitimate way. So now we're looking for people tracks or Bigfoot tracks coming in and out. This seems awful steep and treacherous. This is steep and rough going, you guys. You're welcome to stay down here. I'm gonna get up as far as I can get. Some rocks right here. I need to get above those rocks. I believe the Bigfoot was right up above them to the right. And just look how steep this is. Lots of deer up here. Where a deer stopped and did his business. And that Bigfoot was up there somewhere. Look how steep this has gotten on me. I mean, I go that way, which is the most direct route. I'm gonna have to climb some rock faces, or I can keep going this extremely steep way and get up and around them. See a break off up here too on that oak brush. I'm having a hard time getting past this section. It is so steep. Probably only hiked in these boots 3 times. I mean, they got fresh tread. By the way, I've seen nothing but animal tracks. Some of the people on, or one of the people on Reddit that says he's already hiked up here, you must have levitated, because I'm not seeing your tracks. And it hasn't snowed since that was filmed. That looks like an old Bigfoot track right there. I don't know if you can make that out, but it looks Bigfoot shaped. Looks a little bit older. Just put my foot right next to it. My foot's 12.5 inches. So you can plainly see that track 17 or better. Oh, it's not as definitive as I would like to see, so I'll continue to look. Head across to where I think it was standing pretty damn close. Yeah, okay, get it in that location. And I keep looking back at those pine trees and the houses they filmed over and the driveway that they were at to get myself in position, and I'm I'm really close. Down below I saw a few boot tracks, but just a couple. But up here on the top, all I've seen is animal tracks, and I saw one kind of old looking Bigfoot track. Big old Bigfoot shaped going downhill that looks like it was 17, maybe 18 inches long by about 8 inches wide. So now I'm keeping my eye open for more Bigfoot tracks and animal tracks. But as soon as I get to the location that I think it is by the right angled back, then I'm gonna start coming back. It has been treacherous and scary. Oh, I'm having a rough time even in these new boots. All right, I'm gonna head across this little gully to where I think it happened. All right, I'll make sure you're in position before I head back. Okay, bye. Those are the two pine trees that they were filming over, the two houses in view, and there's the driveway they were filming from. And then there's Derek's Toyota Tundra, and he's waiting for me to get in to position. And I will call him when I get into position. See, there's the giant city of Provo out there, so plenty of cell phone towers, luckily. All right, let's do it. People tracks. I'm coming right on to where that Bigfoot was filmed. There's no doubt in my mind. I am walking into the clearing where that Bigfoot was. And lo and behold, another Bigfoot track, people. That is a Bigfoot. Toe. There's his toes. There's his track. It's another one of his tracks. I'm already, and there's my track. There's human right next to a Bigfoot track. Wow. Yeah, I saw that guy on Reddit say he hiked up here and didn't find nothing. And as soon as I come into the clearing, I know where it happened. Bam! Bigfoot tracks. All right, person has been up here. And these people tracks are a little bit smaller than mine, and they're iced over, so someone has come up and investigated. Look, a rock was laying there at one point in time and was pulled up. Heavy rock. I mean, the bears will turn rocks to get grubs and stuff under them. Oh, and here's the elk set of tracks. No, I'm sorry. Those are the front feet of a rabbit. Rabbit come through here. All right, well, I have found people tracks and Bigfoot tracks up here. I'm gonna call Derek so that we can get in the position that he wants me to be. Let me turn it on speakerphone. Just a second. Okay, am I in the right spot?
You're absolutely. In fact, I think you're a little bit higher than where it was. When you first initially were, when you were looking to your south, I think more where it was, but it could have been straight between where you are now and me. It could have been this way a little bit because there's a little bit more of a clearing that's there. But I'm telling you, Matt, you can hardly even see that you were there. I recorded a little bit. I took a couple pictures.
Uh-huh.
Standing in the clearing, and it pretty much took the snow behind you for me to be able to see you. As dark as you are, whatever it was, I kid you not, 3 to 4 times the size of you.
Yeah,
Pitch black.
all right, I want to point out, as soon as I busted out a cover into the clearing, paralleling cover, Bigfoot tracks. And then when I got out into the clearing a ways, I did find human boot tracks that were smaller than mine, but the Bigfoot track, clearly with the toes that I filmed, was bigger than my track. And then the Bigfoot track that I found the next draw over was even bigger than that. But it could be the same one that slid a little bit. It was a steep part and it was going downhill. So the Bigfoot may have slid a little bit there. But I did find a trackway, and it was evident to me that whatever was leaving that trackway was trying to pick spots, not to leave tracks. But yeah, I did find somebody did come up here that for whatever reason, maybe to investigate this Bigfoot sighting. But I did find a smaller boot track than me. But if they didn't see the Bigfoot tracks, they missed them, because they were probably about 20 feet from where the Bigfoot was paralleling the clearing. So can you see me where I'm at now?
I cannot see.
Where do I need to be in your opinion, to be in the right spot?
I need to know where you are.
You can't see. I can see your truck. I just raised my, I know I'm probably just tiny up here. You see me waving my camera? Yeah, I feel like I'm in the right spot where that Bigfoot would have been.
I saw you before when you were from yourself, but
Okay.
I've lost track of you completely now.
So you were able to take some pictures of me up here?
I took some pictures of you up there.
I just found more Bigfoot tracks. Right here, people.
I want to be up there.
That's all right. We needed you down there for the size comparison. Those aren't boot tracks. I just saw boot tracks up here. Those are Bigfoot, people. So I've accomplished what I wanted to. I come up here to see if there was people tracks or Bigfoot tracks, and I found both. And then you say you got a picture of me up here somewhere?
I got a picture of you. I took a few pictures of you, and I also took some video of you as well.
How about right here? Can you see me?
Yes, I see where you are.
Yeah, get some pictures and video.
Now, hold on, right where you are. In fact, that's got it. Hold on.
Yeah, I found Bigfoot tracks up here, dude.
Yeah, don't move, Kelly.
All right, I'll stay here as long as you need me to. All right, I'm running out of SD card. I'm going to turn the camera off for a little while in case I do run into that Bigfoot. I can have something with it left, but I only have a few minutes left. But yeah, I found what I was looking for. If I find more tracks up here, I'll document them. I moved forward for Derek so he can get some pictures and video of me, so I can kind of compare the two and get the idea of the size. I found probably 8, 9, maybe a dozen Bigfoot tracks up here so far. And I want to point out, I did find one set of human boot tracks, a little smaller than mine, and they were well-defined boots. And the Bigfoot tracks, one of them I found really good toes that I filmed for you guys, pointed out toes. So, you know, not saying it was Bigfoot, but Bigfoot was filmed here just a couple of days ago. So there's a very, yeah.
Where you are right there, I would still put it at least twice the size of you.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get off the mountain. I'm almost out of SD card size.
Did you see any quaking aspens up there?
No, I think all the quaky aspens were in the foreground between you and me. Yeah.
That's possible.
I only see quakies below me. I don't see any above me, but that doesn't mean there isn't any up there.
And you're probably right. When you have the video, I was probably just seeing it in the foreground, and I was seeing the tops of these actual quaking aspens. Is what I was thinking. Well, but yeah, just be careful coming down, dude, because that's nasty.
Okay, well, I'm going to get down off the mountain, and then we can go around and scout and glass the mountainsides for Bigfoot. It may still be in the area. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.
Derek had a much better camera than the guys that filmed the suspect Bigfoot, and that's on the left. I'm on the right, if you can make me out. Look how scrawny my legs are compared to it. I have like stick legs compared to it, and then it has a lot more girth. We tried to match them up with that tree that's up at the top. If you see that pine tree right directly above the Bigfoot on the left, and then some of these screenshots we leave the tree in. I'm not in the exact spot the Bigfoot is, and you know, we tried to match it up as well as we can. Maybe it is Bigfoot, maybe it isn't. We investigated. That's what we found.
People have gotten accidental video of them, and then you've gone back out to the exact same spot, found the exact same spot, stood in the exact same spot that the unknown subject was in, and used yourself for a comparison to the size of the object. And like every time, these things are just huge, way huger than you are. Now, either you're the size of a hobbit, or these guys are really, really big.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm a little bit bigger than a hobbit. I'm 5'7". I'm definitely not anywhere close to
a lot bigger
Bigfoot
than
size.
A hobbit. Yeah, but still, you know, they're like close enough to be standard human male size. And you're like, that thing's like twice as tall as you are, Kelly, and like 3 times as wide. And yeah.
That hike to that top of the mountain sucked. It was dangerous. It was scary, and I would not normally do that, except for the video the day before. I wanted to find some answers, so that was motivation. And I feel like Derek and I spending 2 hours at the base of that mountain and mapping it out mentally, and him talking me into the spot. We did it as safely as we knew how. And
yeah, grappling hook, crampons, and an ice axe next time, Kelly. I was just about having a heart attack watching that video. I'm like, damn it, one of my favorite Bigfoot researchers is about to kill himself. Don't be climbing up that ice in the winter. What the hell, Kelly? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Well, then you got up there and found the tracks and did the comparison video, and like, yeah, it actually was worth it.
Yeah, I see why the guys that filmed it gave up on getting to the location once they hit that cliff. And they're just like, oh, there's no tracks. And they went back, and I'm watching their video, and I'm like, that's not the spot.
You guys didn't go in far enough. That's why you didn't find it. It's up higher. It's above you. Yeah, I know. Well, that's like one of the things that, you know, you and me and a few other people have experienced, and, you know, trying to find some of these spots and line everything up perfectly and to get the comparison video. Man, it's a lot harder than you think it is.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's easier to be a couch squatcher, an armchair squatcher, and criticize and analyze everybody else's efforts and everybody else's stuff. It's a much easier living. Those types of people are a dime a dozen because there's hundreds of thousands of them. So some of them are really good at what they do, and they're helpful. And so you just keep in mind, it's a lot more difficult than it looks from the comfort of your armchair.
Oh, yes, indeed. Absolutely right.
But there are some good ones that are really helpful.
Yep.
You know, some of these guys are some really good breakdown artists. ThinkerThunker, you're the best. Shout out to you, man.
He is. ThinkerThunker is the man out of any of the breakdown artists out there. He's really good. And there's several guys that are doing audio stuff now that are really good. They're really getting up to speed on that too. And a shout out to Bigfoot Anthropologist and does audio breakdowns on stuff. And he's found some amazing stuff. One piece of video he got from Show Me Sasquatch because it had audio on it. And while he was going through doing the audio dig on it, he went, he got him on video. There's one running across the ridgeline, and there's two juveniles in a tree up above him playing in the branches. He didn't even realize he filmed them. And it's cool. The one running across the ridgeline, he's doing the classic Bigfoot description. He's floating. You don't see him bobbing up and down at all. Just straight across the line, and he's moving fast, really fast. So that's an impressive one. If you guys want to go look up something really cool you haven't seen yet, go check that one out. Now, what's your, you accidentally caught them on video a lot of times. And one of the recent ones that you turned out, you were trying to get a picture of an elk a long ways away from you. And you zoomed in on the elk. And there's something else running down the back of the field way behind it.
Yeah.
So zooming across while you're looking at the elk. There's a Bigfoot running across the field in the background behind the elk.
I think that was in the Tetons. And yeah, we were focused in on the elk, even though they were acting strange, but we were filming them and all that, and they just weren't acting like what we were used to. But whatever, we filmed them as best as we could, and I added that to an end of one of our expedition videos, and a viewer pointed out something Bigfoot shaped moving into the background, and then I'm like, well, maybe that's why the elk was acting
so
weird. And so I believe I put out a video where I kind of zoomed in on it and stabilized it and everything. And I don't like to make the claim that it's a Bigfoot unless I saw it with my own eyes. That's something that was just captured in the background of the camera, some interest. So I just put that out there, and you can be the judge of what's back there harassing those elk.
Yeah. Kelly's very cautious. He puts out lots of pictures and video of Bigfoot that he doesn't claim are Bigfoot and video of Bigfoot, although they are. But so I'll just go ahead and make the claim.
A viewer messaged us at R.M.S.O. and informed us of a dark reddish Bigfoot-shaped creature moving fast in our Pine Creek Bigfoot expedition video. I took a look at this timestamp that they sent. I will show you the section of the video it was filmed, then stabilize, zoom, and slow the section of the video where the subject is that a viewer sent to us. It's the first I noticed it. I don't know what it is, but let's take a look. At the end of the expedition hike, as we're driving away, we spot an elk. We film it. The person that sent this in to us saw it off the nose of the elk by a few feet in the background, moving quickly. This is the original clip.
There's a bunch of trees in the way. All you can see is this fat little belly. If you backed up a little minute, I don't know.
He's peeing.
Stop!
He's a big boy. He's going directly away from us now.
Mm-hmm.
Ten years ago, we got a photograph in the direction we were hearing Bigfoot vocalizations after we found some footprints. It looked like a Bigfoot subject in the photo that we zoom in on. Not sure what that is either, but this happened about 10 years ago in the same area.
The one in Lost Creek, That one I'm 99.9% sure was a Bigfoot watching us investigate its sighting.
Yeah.
So they're every once in a while, one of them's clear and open enough. I mean, you can only see this Bigfoot from probably the lower chest, the stomach up, and both of its arms and head and face, and
You
so
can see his
you know,
hair.
I-
Yeah.
and you could tell he was massive.
Yeah. Really
And
huge.
and
Well, and the other thing is, you guys, a lot of times, just like any good researcher, if you're out there filming enough, you're going to get them accidentally, and you may not see them at the time that you're filming them. I rarely do. Sometimes I do, but
yeah, the camera
90%
don't blink.
of the time, no. The camera catches them. And one of my favorite ones is where you're out with Mr. Balls of Steel doing a nighttime walk around, and nobody's even got a friggin' flashlight on. You've got you've got your infrared, and you're walking around with that, and you take this turn and go down the trail this way, and there's one standing right there, like 10 feet off the trail, looking at you guys, and you pick up its eye shine. Well, what was that, Kelly? Was that a 9-foot tall deer that you got on video, or?
Yeah, it's the tallest raccoon of all time.
With eyes that far apart? Yeah, they frequently have those, right?
Yeah, that was in Sasquatch Canyon, and Sasquatch Canyon got its name in the 70s by Hunters and Price. They kept getting Bigfoot sightings, finding Bigfoot tracks, and just pretty much as a consensus, all the hunters that went back in there, they nicknamed it that. And once when I got serious about this and figured out that that's why they called it. It's like, well, that's where I want to be. So I
They already
started
told me where to go.
I started Bigfooting in there, and the first few years I started Bigfooting in there, I found hundreds of tracks. I mean, conservatively, hundreds of tracks of Bigfoot, all different sizes in there. But anyway, I was with Mike Hansen that night, and we kind of made a thing of it. We have a trap line of camera traps and there's a certain part of Sasquatch Canyon where Bigfoot's, in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, is nocturnal. They're more active at night. So we like to do a night hike. So we'll hike in a mile to the first camera and service that at night. And then the next day we'll hike in the 5 or 6 miles and get the rest of the cameras. Well, I took Mike in there that one night. There was a little bit of snow on the ground too, I believe. And this guy, he's a big game hunter and everything. And I talk him into going Bigfooting with me once in a while, begrudgingly. It's not his thing, but when he comes, man, he's got balls of steel. That night, he kept on insisting on lights out. I had a infrared camera, so the camera's seeing just fine. And Mike kept on making me turn my headlamp off. He kept his off. And then we have handheld spotlights that we use sparingly because they only last like 15 minutes of battery life. So you got to be sparing with it. But yeah, he kept insisting lights out, and back in there by the camera, we kept on getting vocalizations, whoops and Bigfoot howls and wood knocks and anyway, I'm looking through the viewfinder of the camera, and he's having to lead the way because it's dilating my eyes, and I'm stumbling around. I can't see where I'm going. So he stayed about 5 feet in front of me to guide me out. Well, we were coming out after servicing that camera and getting all those vocalizations, and we could just smell a stink in this one area. And then we get to where we can hear rock clacking, like something's walking around on the rocks. Well, there's these giant cliffs that drop rocks down into the thick of the forest, and there's different parts where it makes clackety sounds if you walk on them. And Mike
Right.
was trying to keep us off of those, and we both were like making comments, could hear something walking around us, and everything. Well, we didn't notice it until like a week later when we were reviewing the footage, the area where we were hearing something walk around us, like 10, 15 feet away. There's these eyes that the infrared camera picked up. Now, you got to have a light to get a reflection of most nocturnal creatures.
Right.
And it was a really dark night, and the human eye can't see infrared. I mean, if you look at the source, you can see it, but you don't see the reflection of it off of material or things. So we couldn't see the eye shine, but the camera could see those eyes. And if you look in the video, Mike heads right towards them, and then the eyes zip to one side. That Squatch had to give way, or Mike would have ran right into its chest. Mike walked right up to it.
You know, that's the one thing that freaked me out so much when I watched that video the first time. So like he's gonna walk right into it, and at the last second, it moved out of the way.
We're just leaving the bear cave, and we could smell something back there behind us. We also heard rock clacks earlier and some whoops and whelps. I don't know if that was an echo of us cracking a rock or if something just cracked a rock, but did you hear it? Off to our right.
I think so.
Same direction we heard it the last time.
Seemed like we came right through there. Yep, there's our track.
Yep. Mike's backtracking our tracks out of here in the snow.
Yeah, and that's an area where we consistently find Bigfoot tracks. As a matter of fact, I told the story earlier where Brody and I tracked the 19 and the 14-inch tracks up the mountain and saw where the female, the one with 14-inch tracks, kept putting her
Hand down,
her left hand because she was holding the infant in the right, and that's the same area where that all happened. We get a lot of activity.
Found a fresh set of 19-inch footprints. Before I showed you the footprints, I just want to show you on the way up, just for shits and giggles, because we found some other rock stack stuff around here. Brody and Jenny made this cool little rock stack. Well, on our way back, something, while we were up in the canyon, built this little rock stack here. So we started checking for footprints in front of it, and lo and behold, fresh 19-inch footprints. And I'll show you one that we're casting. We're casting that one. It's the best one. And Jenny's still backtracking down. And look at these snap-offs. Let me see if I can get the camera on. I'm sorry about my camera work. I suck with the camera. But look at these snap-offs. And today it's showing us it likes to walk right where the snap-offs are. It come up this creek, and I'm measuring a casual 64-inch stride from this footprint to the one we're casting, and then Derek's bent over right now to where it made a rock structure. These footprints are fresh. They weren't here on our way in. We come right past here on our way in. These are fresh. This come up behind us. We've been hearing whoops, finding footprints, handprints and stuff today. We're kind of sitting here letting this cast dry. So far, I can see 5 footprints with my naked eye from that point to this point to here. One more right there, and then it sat here and built this little structure, and then Brody found a couple more up there. Derek's leaving it a gift of almonds. Leaving him. You know, we've never really felt threatened in here. We've heard them, and they skirt us and everything. And you know, if there's a 19-incher in here, or the one with the 14-inch, or the one with the 15-inch, if they wanted to ambush us or take us, they would. And the rocks that have been thrown
have been thrown kind of near us, but never close enough that I ever felt like my life or I was threatened of any type of injury. It seems more playful than anything, but I think they're getting to know us. We're back in here all the time. We're not into gifting because we don't want bears to get used to human food and associate food with people, so we don't gift. But today's a special circumstance. I mean, this guy's probably been shadowing us up on the hillsides and stuff all day. Rock stack thing right next to ours, so we're gonna leave him some almonds on the way out. And he's probably watching us right now. We've been hearing whoops and stuff, and I'm gonna slowly pan around and show the viewers where Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization is taking a break while we let a cast dry. It's not the best cast in the world, but it's on a level spot, and you know, we've probably seen 24 definitive. Yeah, and Derek wants me to show you guys the snap off again. Derek, go stand under those snap offs so people can get an idea of how high and how big they are. Careful not to step in the cast. I'm sure that's what you're watching. Yeah, reach up your hand straight up. Those are close to 7 feet off. Did you find any more footprints back there, Jenny?
That dude hangs out.
I'm pretty excited. This is the biggest footprint that I've ever found. He's 18 plus in length, and he's over 8 inches wide. I mean, just a massive footprint. We've 3 of them in this meadow where we found the 17-inch tracks. I don't know. He's in here kicking the 17-inch male out. I mean, I don't know if this is doing it justice, but can you see that massive? We're casting this one. It's in a level spot. And Brody's calling it 19. And I can see why he's calling it 19. It may very in fact be 19, but this is a very large male. And we've had lots and lots of rain up here, so we know this footprint is fresh. It's probably within the last 24 hours. That's a week after we got the suspect Bigfoot video, and that's the direction that Brody's walking, is the direction that we shot the video. We went across the ravine looking for the cave that we thought was the illusion that caused it. I mean, it's only 3 in the afternoon right now, and we shot that footage at 4 p.m. last week, but we couldn't find a cave. We tried spotting it from across the way. We even filmed the area where we caught the suspect Bigfoot to try and find the cave. We're gonna have to go back and look at videos and do some comparisons, because me and Brody can't find a cave. Now we're up here and we're finding 18 plus inch footprints in length and over 8 inches wide. I want to get down here and I want to point out, we're going to cast this also, but the toes are right across here, and then it shoots back that way to the hill, and the hill's right back here, and you can tell it's fresh because the vegetation is still smushed down. So it looks like we're on to a very large male. I've never seen or heard anything about females getting this big. We're thinking the females get 14, 15 inch max. So this is 18 plus. Brody, looking at the tape, he's calling it 19. I'm calling it 18. It's probably somewhere in the middle. And I want to pan around and show you where I'm at. And I want to show you the direction it's going. There's Brody, and oh, there's my poncho in the tree drying out my backpack. But I just want to pan around real slow. I'm going to set the tripod down and show you where we found the print. We've found 3 of these 18 plus inches right here, and that's the best of them. And I'll pan around real slow, show you where we're at. We've been in this meadow before. This is where we found the 17-inch footprints about what was it, 2 weeks ago when Jenny and I were up here. Jenny's not up here today. She has a sore throat, and we knew it was going to be a wet, miserable day, and it has been. So she doesn't need to get any sicker. She's back at camp, taking care of camp for us. And that's the direction we're going to go. We got one more game cam up there. We're going to pick that one up, and we're going to pick up the rest of the game cams on the way out. We haven't picked them up on the way in because the last time we were up here, something followed us. We were stalked for a couple of miles, so in case we get stalked again, we had a lot of wood knocks right at the mouth of the canyon. There's the footprint. We've got it casted. Here's the stride. It's a 6-foot stride. What was it, Brody? 70 inches? 72 inches was the stride. And there's the other print. We're not casting this one. The toes aren't as definitive. But this footprint over here was so fresh that the vegetation, and we already filmed it and took pictures, but the vegetation down underneath the print are still pressed down, and it had great toes. We just come back after collecting our last game cam. We're in a clearing where a couple of weeks ago Jenny and I found 17-inch footprints, and today me and Brody aren't finding the 17s. We're finding 14 and pretty close to 19-inch. I casted one of them. We found well, at first when we casted this one we had found 3, and we can take a close look at that. We overfilled it. It's not actually as wide as it's showing here. It's about 8.5 inches wide. We overfilled it, and you're supposed to. The bottom's important, not the top. We want to make sure we get the full footprint. But it's damn near 19 inches long. It's 8.5 inches wide, maybe a little bit wider. And right here, here's the next best footprint, and it's got a 72-inch stride right here. Don't know if it's running, jogging, or just walking when it made it, but we've had a lot of rain up here, so we're thinking these are pretty fresh. And we casted the one we're casting because the toes are really nice. And this is a big boy. I don't know if that 17-incher we're finding up here is the alpha male and he's up here squeezing him out for breeding rights, or if that's his oldest boy. I doubt it. I bet he's up here kicking that male out of here. And that's the direction we picked up our last game cam, down by the creek where we keep finding footprints. And I was telling you that we initially found 3 of these 17-inch footprints. Since me and Brody has found 4 more, we found 7. And then we find a lot of 14s, and I've been taking pictures of them. We'll put them on our website, the still photos of footprints and stuff. We'll put those on our website at www.rmso.net. And then anything that's a video we'll upload to our YouTube site. And yeah, we're gonna dig up this footprint, and we'll take some photos and some videos, and then we're gonna head out of here. It's been a pretty wet day, but wet's a good thing. It's squatchy, and we're gonna keep our eyes open for more activity. A lot of footprints back here, and I know we're Bigfoot researchers, but today we've been cave researchers. We've been looking for a cave. This parabolic mic's picking up what's following us real close, coming down to where we can hear it moving around. But it is, but it's gotten really close to us. It's down 100 feet. Getting close to the last cabin. I can hear it behind us. Can you hear it, Brody? Did you hear it back there? Something following us, and it's pretty close right now. We have found about 24 footprints back here. We casted the best of 7, close to 19 inches. Brody, it's on the other side of us now. It's on the other side of us. It's back this way. My direction, back behind me. I heard him moving around. Found a lot of footprints. We might be getting stopped. This is usually the part of the canyon that we get stopped to. It's very narrow. Gonna kind of pan around, show you how narrow this part of the canyon is. It's a bottleneck. Alright. Well, me and Brody's gonna start heading back. We're gonna grab another game cam and slowly head out of here and see what we can find.
Well, before we wrap it up, because we're almost nearing 2 hours here, and fingers crossed, hopefully everything's going to record properly this time. One thing I didn't ask you last time, what was it like going out and surviving, being out with Survivorman Bigfoot Les Stroud? For all the people that haven't been camping with Les Stroud.
Okay, he's also got balls of steel, that guy. That was an amazing experience. We went probably 4 or 5 miles off trail into Sasquatch Canyon, right near a place we call the Bigfoot Highway, because we find so many tracks that pass this certain location because there's a spring nearby, and I'm guessing that's the reason why they don't have to come down to the rivers and creeks. They can get a drink right there. So I'm guessing why. And he's like, well, that's set up camp right here. So yeah, we camped there, and gosh, the last night we were there, we got snowed on because it was like November, and yeah, he kept going off by himself, and at night he'd go off by himself for a couple of hours scouting around and stuff, and I was just like, I kept telling him, I'm like, man, we find bear tracks, Bigfoot tracks, mountain lion all over here, you be careful, I'll be fine. And he also has a walkie-talkie, and he has an armband with one of those satellite dills that, if an animal does take you, at least we can find you, or at least find the arm it's attached to,
or at least a life alert. I've fallen and I can't get up. I'm at the bottom of a canyon. The Sasquatch is stamping on me.
But something that happened that was pretty neat is he got a vocalization. One of the nights he played his harmonica before he went to bed, and a couple of minutes after he got done playing his harmonica, something vocalized about 100 yards from camp, and it was like a half of a hoop or whatever. It's like if it was a Bigfoot, it like just cut it off halfway from what I'm used to, and that was pretty interesting. And then that same very night, I'm thinking, God, we're probably going to get a crazy night. I woke up once to go to the bathroom, and then really late into the night, I woke up, had to go to the bathroom, and something brushed up against my tent. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, and I just got the creeps, and I'm like, yeah, just hold it. Just hold it. Don't go out there. And, so, I forced myself to go to sleep, and I knew it wasn't Les or his kid because their tent was close enough. Yeah, he brought his son Logan along on that one, and so they were both in the same tent, and I could hear them breathing and sleeping in that tent. Well, anyway, then the next morning, Les and his son is like, hey, did you hear those growls outside of our tent last night? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, no, I didn't hear anything. I go, it was probably me. I snore really bad. And they're like, oh no, we could hear you snoring. It was on the other side of our tent. And I'm like, well, let's check the cameras. I already had a camera in the area, and when the first night that we were there, Les set up 3 game cameras. So we had 4 in the area. So we checked them all. Nothing on any of them but mine. And on mine, this giant mountain lion, and in comparison to me, I'm thinking this male mountain lion, this Tom, was about 200 pounds, all kinds of muscles. But you see him squared off staring at Les's tent. He's squared off at their tent, and it's on his show. I think it's season 1, episode 6, the Survivorman Bigfoot. They start out with Texas the first half, and then the second half, or vice versa. He's with me, but he has that mountain lion that we captured on my game camera on there. So, and then I'm just thinking, that was around midnight-ish on the timestamp on there, and I caught it on my game camera like 3 times, but one time it was squared off at their tent. So that's what they were hearing growling. It wasn't me snoring. And
it wasn't a Sasquatch. It was just a nice little peaceful mountain lion.
And me trusting my gut, when I went to go to the bathroom and I heard something brush up against my tent, I was just like, no, I'm not going out there. It was that mountain lion that was lurking around. So that was pretty cool. And I actually didn't get much sleep the last night. That was the night that we woke up with a bunch of snow, and I just froze my nads off. That was so cold, but it was a great experience. He's a very brave, knowledgeable person. I was worried about him taking off at night and hiking around by himself.
Yeah. Well, I've heard from a couple other people that I know that have met Les and, talked to him extensively and stuff. And they all, pretty much give you the same lowdown. He's like, he really is the guy that he shows on video. He's a super nice guy, straight shooter, doesn't bullshit you, The Class A big thumbs up is basically the report on him. So it's always nice to see that there's at least somebody that's in the public eye that's, not full of crap.
Well, and it's exciting that he's into the Bigfoot thing. I always feel like if you can go out there, it's like Paul Freeman says, Bigfoot only shows himself when you're alone, but that's not necessarily true. A lot of people have group sightings, but I always just felt like if you could take off into a Bigfoot hot spot and hunker down by yourself for a couple of weeks, you may have a good chance getting video of him. And that's what I told Les, but Les is like, yep, I'm done doing this alone. He said that these lone survival things weighs on you mentally, spending that much time alone. And so he really likes the idea of Bigfooting because he can have company. He's not the lone survivor anymore. He can go out with a couple of people, and he's proved that he could do it. He did it 15, 20 years or whatever it is, but I can see how spending 10 days, 2 weeks at a time with no contact.
With nothing. Yeah, it's not like he's comfort camping, He's like, I haven't got with the I'm lucky this time I have a penknife with me, or something like that.
So he embraces the camaraderie and being able to share the experience with people.
Right on. Well, that's just so cool, and I always heard good things about him, and it was I really loved it when you got to be on the show. I'm like, oh yeah, he's going out with Kelly Shaw. He's going out with at least one good researcher on his show.
Well, I saw on television or somewhere where he said that he wanted to do some Bigfoot expeditions, and I was always a fan of his show. Me and my boys, we used to watch every episode from the beginning, and I like survival shows because I'm always out there. I'm a camping addict, and if I get myself in a pinch, I want to know some of the tricks to at least survive until I get some help. So I've always watched those shows. Well, then when I heard that he wanted to go Bigfooting, I'd already emailed him as a fan a couple of times, and he graciously has responded to some of them. And so I already had his email, and then I saw that he was interested in Bigfooting, and I emailed him and sent him a handful of videos of some of my findings and everything, and said, hey, you're more than welcome to come out with me. I can show you a great spot. And so when I picked him up at the airport on our drive in, he's like, yep, I watched your videos. And he goes, one of the reasons that I chose to go with you is you seem genuine. You were finding some good stuff. And your son that you went Bigfooting with, my son Caleb, he's about the same age as Logan, same build, blonde-haired kids. And so I don't know, he made that connection with me because of our sons, and he wanted to go, and he actually brought his son along that time because his son's wanting to get into that kind of thing. So his son come along as a learning experience, which was great.
Now that just must have been a blast, man. That's so awesome.
It was good times.
Well, let's see. What else have we not brought up yet? Well, obviously, Kelly's got a lot more videos out there showing stuff than what we were able to bring up and mention in a paltry 2 hours. And I encourage all of you, if you're not paying attention to his channel already, what the hell's wrong with you? Go subscribe. Click that bell icon so you get every notification that YouTube's actually willing to send. And also, let's not forget where he's at. He has a group on Facebook. He has a group on MeWe. His main video platform is on YouTube. And you have website also, right?
Right. You can find us on YouTube and Facebook under R.M.S.O. Bigfoot or Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. And then our website's actually a blog. It's R.M.S.O. Bigfoot at blogspot.com. And it also goes by Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. The blog, I will make an article about people's Bigfoot sighting reports that I like that people send me. And so a lot of times you can see what we're doing ahead of time by reading these guys' reports. I like the history of Bigfoot, and I like to document publicly Bigfoot sightings. Those of you that are gracious enough to send me your sightings, and then when I get time, especially if it's in a place with a lot of sightings, I like to get into the area and look around, and once I get footage of the area, I'll make a video of your sighting report and put that out there. So you get the videos and you get the people's written reports. And I try not to dink around with their written reports. I like to put them on there exactly as they gave them to me, whether there's grammatical errors, or I can't even say it, or spelling errors, or whatever. I put them out as is. I don't like to mess with them.
And that's two of the things that Kelly has heavily going in his favor with him and the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch Organization. First of all, if you go to that website, you will see a ton of reports. He has been taking reports for a long time. There's a ton of reports to sort through. And of course, the even better thing is, like he said, if it's somewhere where it's worth the time to go travel there, they'll go right to the spot where this actually happened. They'll film video from that spot, and Kelly or Jenny will narrate the actual encounter that happened on that spot. So this is a big step up in coolness from most of the Bigfoot channels out there that just want to sit behind their desk and read a report. Kelly and team actually try and go right to the spot where it happened, and then they'll read you the report. And a couple times you even managed to bring the witness with and had him right there where it happened. One of those is great because, man, you could tell that guy was still on like pins and needles. He did not want to be anywhere near where that happened. He was just looking creeped out, looking over his shoulder and stuff the whole time he was there, man.
Yeah, it's very rare that you can get the witness back at the location. Everybody's schedules, and a lot of times these are remote places, but sometimes we get lucky and we can get the witness there at the same time. If not, we'll go and film it, and we'll narrate their reports and show you guys what the area looks like, and if we can find some tracks or get some vocalizations, if we're so lucky, we'll put those out on the video too.
I've only been lucky enough twice now to be in a encounter location with a witness that had the encounter, and both times I wished I had been videotaping them, because the reaction they have to it is so obvious and
they're
so
spooked
strong.
of the area.
There's no faking it. God, they're just scared as hell. They're like in a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, man. They're just turning in every direction, looking around, paranoid as hell. Are we done yet? Can we leave now? That tells you something. Not making a story up. They're scared as hell to even be there.
Yeah, a lot of these witnesses never give it a second thought, never even considered something like that to be real, and all of a sudden they see it, and something that's not supposed to exist, all of a sudden a monster to them has just come to life, and it's quite shocking, life-changing experience for a lot of these people.
Yeah, and I feel really sorry for the ones that are really hardcore woodsmen or hunters or something like that have an experience like that scares them so bad they won't go back in the woods again, and it just like ruins their favorite hobby. I feel really bad for people like that. And again, if we add some basic information out there to the public that, hey, these things are real, and for the most part they're really not that dangerous, and you shouldn't have to be like shooting at them or be terrified when you see one, that would solve a lot of problems. There'd be more people that wouldn't get that reaction, and there'd also be less people taking a random shot at them just because they saw something they can't recognize in the woods. That doesn't make for good relations between humans and Sasquatch when you got these people that don't know what the hell they're looking at, panic, and start shooting at them.
Right. I'm a no hurt, no kill. I'm I'm not out there to harvest one. I just want to get clear open footage. However, if I feel like my life or my bodily, I'm going to get bodily harm, I'm definitely going to defend myself. But just being a historian of Bigfoot sighting reports and studying them, I'm not too worried about it. They may bluff threat because they don't like you in your area, but I'm not too worried about getting attacked, but I'm going to make sure that I take precautions so that doesn't ever happen. It's going to get a face full of mace, and then usually my partners that are with me, they have protection. So we don't plan on ever having to use it though.
Hopefully not. Hopefully never. All right, brother. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so very, very glad to finally have you on here. It's been years and years and years I've been trying to get you on the show. And now you're like the last legit researcher on the continent that was finally on the show. No, I'm just kidding. There's 3 or 4 left that I haven't gotten to yet. And there's one in Australia I've still been pestering.
Well, it's been a pleasure, Duke. I've really enjoyed being on World Bigfoot Radio.
Right on, brother. Well, you know what? We have to have you back again. So just let me know when you got more time cleared up, maybe 6 months or something, and you got a day where you broke your leg or something, so you can't be out in the woods, and we'll get you recorded again.
All right. Well, or we can do it annually in the wintertime when things slow down for me. I don't do as many expeditions in the wintertime, and so we were able to make it happen this winter, and I'm happy we're able to do it because you're a very entertaining host. I like the fact that you're someone that goes out there, has the experience, and we can relate. We've both experienced a lot of the same things in different places.
Right on, brother. That helps me so much with the show. I mean, if I was just an armchair researcher, I literally couldn't do this show. It's because I've been out there for 40 years doing this and seeing all this other weird stuff. And right away, when I talk to somebody like you, 3 minutes later, I go, this guy's 100% legit. Because he's already mentioning stuff that, like, average people don't know this stuff. All these little weird details. It's only the people that have been out there and really experienced it that knows all that little stuff. So it's always a thrill for me when I finally get a chance to talk to somebody like Kelly. It's like, well, here's another one of my best friends that I've never got a chance to really talk to before. And then we found out we have a bunch of other stuff in common too that we didn't even know.
We've spent a lot of time over the last 10 years communicating on social media, so we've really gotten to know each other before having this this podcast or whatever you want to call it interview.
Yeah. Well, just the last couple of days here is the first time we've actually talked. We've just been typing back and forth on a computer up until now. So it's been such a thrill for me because I'm already a fan of your channel. I've seen all your videos, been following your work for years, know all about you. And now it's like, oh, finally I get a chance to talk to Kelly. Here's some of the stuff I've been wanting to tell you for the last 10 years.
Well, I've had a great time.
It was a blast for me too, brother. And thank you again so much for taking the time to come on the show. I know you don't usually do appearances on other people's shows, and and I can understand that. I get pestered to be on shows a lot, and I just kind of generally cave in and go, whatever. I'll do it. But I'm not quite as busy as you. You're out in the field a lot driving around. You just don't have the time to do it.
I feel like I work 4 full-time jobs, man. I've got, I work for a bank. That's one full-time job. And then the blog feels like a full-time job, video editing, and then going out and doing the expeditions. That's another full-time job. I mean, we use up 90% of our vacation and 90% of our weekends doing it. I was just telling my brother that lives in Montana today, I'm like, that's all I do is work, but at least 3 of my jobs are work of passion.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yes, I enjoy it.
That is the truth there. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and they're saying, so you're finally going to have Kelly on your show, huh? Yeah. So would that take like about 3 years? Yeah. And he goes, why didn't he get back to you sooner? And I went, dude, I can't even figure out when that guy sleeps. Do you see how much content he puts out? I don't even know how the hell he gets a chance to sleep, much less be on shows or anything.
Oh gosh. And sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night with with like a blog idea or whatever, and I can't go back to sleep till I go put it on paper, and I'm afraid I'm gonna forget or whatever. So yeah, sometimes it does affect my sleep.
I always
know,
suspected that. Kelly doesn't actually sleep. He's a 24-hour-a-day squatching machine.
At work, you know, people have said to me, you know, like Chris comes up to him and he's like, dude, I saw that you had a blog posted and it was time stamped at 3 a.m. You were up in the middle of the night making a blog. And I'm like, yeah, I woke up with a blog idea, a sighting report that I forgot to put down, and I couldn't sleep. So I had to go do it. I can't sleep. I might as well be working. And he's like, man, you're crazy. You know? So it happens. If I can't sleep, I might as well be working, man.
That happens to me in the morning. I wake up and I have this idea going, oh, I need to go do this. I need to work on this video. I need to, and it's always some Bigfoot related thing. And for some reason, while I'm sleeping, it comes to the top of my mind and goes, okay, idiot, now that you're awake, do this. Oh, yeah, I need to do that. Because I'm way behind on everything always, because that's just the nature of the beast. You can't keep up with it too much.
Yeah, I've been having a problem keeping up with the schedule I want to have. I have all these expedition ideas, and I think, okay, I'm going to do all these expeditions in 2021, and I'm only able to get to half of them, and I'm always out there. And then these sighting reports, I'm constantly in conversations with like 5 to 10 people at a time. Some of these sighting reports that I get, I can't put them out until certain questions are answered, and I'm waiting for replies. So some of them get put on the back burner, and I'm always afraid that some are going to fall through the cracks, and I try to stay as organized as I can. And so if you guys give me a sighting report and I have a couple of questions, please answer those so I can take them off the back burner and make a blog out of them, and eventually go investigate them and maybe make a video.
Yep, right on. Keep that in mind, people. He's doing his level best to keep up with everything. You got to help him and not throw blocks under the wheels and impede his progress.
But
well,
yeah, I love them.
Same thing happens with me. I try and do interviews and stuff, and then we have computer problems, and then it's the next day and you're still trying to do the same interview. These things happen.
Yeah, our conversation that we had last night was epic. It's too bad we had computer issues, but I think we've had a great conversation tonight. I hope people enjoy this, and keep on squatching.
Right on.
Yeah.
We're going to keep on watching, and you keep on squatching. And meanwhile, the usual abjurations to my audience applies. Do not poke Dogman with a stick. Don't punt the puck, would you? Don't flip off Mountain Giant. And whatever you do, do not hug the Wookiees. Good night, everybody.